something good's on.
You're watching the History Channel. Today we're going to talk about Constantinople, a very interesting city. Constantinople is one of the oldest and most influential cities in history. It was settled in 657 BCE by Byzas, a ruler from the ancient Greek city of Megara. The area that Byzas settled became known as Byzantium. Byzantium eventually became one of the most important places in the world, playing a part in the Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire, and the Ottoman Empire. After Byzas founded Byzantium, several different groups fought for power in the region for the next couple of centuries. The Persians, Athenians, Spartans, Macedonians, you name it. Eventually the Romans took control. Around 200 CE, the Roman Empire split into East and West. The West was quickly declining, so when Constantine I became the Roman Emperor, he moved the capital of the empire from Rome to the eastern city of Byzantium, which he called Nova Roma, or New Rome. Constantine expanded the city, did some major rebuilding, and renamed the city Constantinople. Under him, Constantinople thrived and became a major hub of trade and wealth. There were a lot of rulers after Constantine who ensured the city kept prospering. In 1054, the Great Schism occurred, and Constantinople, in effect, became the seat of the Eastern Orthodox Church. Unfortunately, Constantinople also dealt with loss of trauma. During the Fourth Crusade, the Christians ended up burning and plundering the city around 1200 CE, leaving the city vulnerable. The Ottoman Turks took advantage of this weakness, and finally, in 1453, the Ottomans were able to sack Constantinople and put an end to the famous city. The city was then claimed for Muslim rule under Mehmed II, who converted many of the famous churches to mosques and renamed the city Istanbul. And then finally, in the 20th century, a series of wars such as the Balkan Wars, World War I, and the Greco-Turkish War wiped out the last remainders of the Ottoman Empire. Next up, the Black Death.
I'm not really into that.
Welcome to HGTV. We return to House Hunters, Constantinople.
Hi, I'm Maria, and I work as a mule feeder from a nearby town. I've come to Constantinople to find good work because I've heard of the amazing opportunities that are here. Now I'm looking for a place to stay.
Welcome to Constantinople. I'm going to take you around the city today. What's your budget?
Around $70 million.
Okay, I'm going to tell you a bit about your options first. Early Byzantine architecture is heavily inspired from Roman temples. The Romans' combination of the basilica and symmetrical religious structures is apparent in many of the Byzantine Greek churches. These churches are most known for their domed roofs. Byzantine structures are also known for their large spaces and extravagant decorations. There are marble columns and inlay, mosaics, inlaid stone pavements, and even gold coffered ceilings.
Wow, that sounds amazing!
Here's your first option, the Hagia Sophia. Hagia Sophia means holy wisdom and is probably one of the most famous structures in the city since it was one of the first cathedrals. It was built by Emperor Justinian. The Hagia Sophia has 2 floors centered on a giant nave that has a huge dome ceiling along with smaller domes above.
It's pretty and all, but it's kind of ordinary.
Ordinary?
Yeah, it's just another church.
Well, maybe the Hippodrome would be more appealing to you. The Hippodrome is used for a variety of activities: chariot racing, parades, public executions, and even public shaming of the emperor's enemies.
Finally, something exciting.
The Hippodrome is a long rectangular shape with a curved end. It is around 400 meters in length and up to 200 meters wide. So one lap of the track is about 300 meters. The seating tiers rise far above the track and are separated from it by a moat.
You know what? I'll take it.
For HGTV, that's a bit weird.
Hello everyone, tonight I'm here with
Odo of Duel.
Would you like to give us a few words about your stay here in Constantinople?
Of course. Well, Constantinople is arrogant in her faith, treacherous in her practices, corrupt in her wealth. And as she fears everyone on account of her wealth, she is dreaded by everyone because of her treachery and faithlessness. If she did not have these vices, however, she would be preferable to all other places because of her temperate climate, rich fertility of the soil, and location convenient for propagating the faith.
Thank you for your very interesting words. It was great speaking to you tonight.
How am I getting news from centuries ago?
Welcome to 30-Minute Meals. I'm your host, Maya Tiart. Today, I'll be creating Constantinople culture with some simple ingredients from around the house. First, you need your spot in the Mediterranean, found in any local Bed Bath & Beyond. This allowed Constantinople to become a hub for trade and a major crossroads between other civilizations. Next, add your religious ingredients, so essential for your dish. There's the Bishop of Constantinople, later known as the Ecumenical Patriarch, a prime leader within the church, although the emperor had supreme power within the church. Also, the main meat of the dish, Eastern Orthodoxy. Within that, there's divine liturgy, a form of public worship similar to the Roman Mass. Within, also, sprinkle in a bit of Islam, as it was seen as an ideal city, and the conquest of it was extremely important to Islam. Next, you should add the Greek language, as Constantinople was the capital of a Greek-speaking empire for over 1,000 years. Add in some influence from the Byzantines, as Constantinople was home to many Byzantine scholars and writers. Now, for the most flavorful ingredient, arts. This included embroidery, enamel work, and relief sculptures. I think it's time to put it on the stove now. Let me just grab my lid. There we go. Now you just let it simmer for around a couple centuries. And voila! Now you can have just a taste of Constantinople culture. This lunch dish goes great with a breakfast of Byzantium and a dinner of Istanbul. What? That doesn't even make sense!
Coming down to Constantinople, we trade oil, wine, salt, fish, meat, vegetables, timber, wax, ceramics, linen, and cloth. We also trade luxury items such as silks, perfumes, and spices. Funny little story about those silk products. A little while ago, Emperor Justinian sent 2 monks to China. While they were there, they stole silkworm eggs and smuggled them back into Constantinople inside of bamboo stalks. From that point on, silk grew to become a major industry for the Byzantine Empire. Commerce thrives here in Constantinople. This is because our city is located on a major crossroads for trade and commerce. Merchant ships travel to the east side of the Black Sea and exchange products with Eastern Asia and the Far East as well. The Red Sea serves as an important corridor for long-distance trade between the Mediterranean and the Indian Ocean. Come on down and get some great products now!
What?
All rise. Court is in session. I call up our government expert to the stand, Miss Kavanaugh.
Okay, a legal drama. Hopefully that's normal.
Now, Miss Kavanaugh, the defendant claims that they had a right to murder the 13 Osman children because they are the leaders of Constantinople and had divine right. What do you say to this?
Your Honor, the defendant is clearly guilty. First of all, Constantinople isn't ruled by divine right. I don't even think they know how government works at all. Miss Van Darker, would you mind explaining to the court exactly how the government works then, in case they are also unaware? Yes, I will do so. Constantinople was first ruled by Constantine I and then promptly succeeded by Constantine II. As emperor, he converted to Arianism, which threatened the Christian populace. He also enlarged the governmental bureaucracy, adding in quaestors, praetors, and tribunes. Additionally, he built another cistern and additional grain silos. Another important leader was Theodosius the Great, who ruled from 379 to 395 CE. He made Christianity the main religion of the empire in 391 CE and outlawed paganism. Next, as a prominent ruler, was Justinian I, who ruled from 527 to 565 CE. He participated in the major Byzantine law reform called the Justinian Code, or Corpus Iuris Civilis. Under his rule, there was heavy and strict taxing. You might know of his wife, Theodora, who was his closest advisor. She influenced him to expand women's rights in divorce, close all brothels, and create convents for former prostitutes. His rule in 532 CE was the Nico Revolt. Nearly half the city was burned in the riots, and over 30,000 people were killed. Okay, that's great and all, but I'm not finished. Justinian's rule had a heavy emphasis on expansion and rebuilding as he based his platform on reconquering the Roman Empire. His administration also rebuilt the Hagia Sophia for the third time. In the 700s, Leo III was a prominent ruler. He believed that iconoclasm was blasphemous and started a ban on religious images.
Objection, Your Honor. This is not relevant.
Exactly. I asked for government structure, not prominent leaders of Constantinople. Okay, fine. The government of Constantinople was ruled by an emperor as an absolute monarch and passed down his power unto his next of kin. The emperor was also the head of the church. He was supposed to consult the Senate for legal decisions and advice. The inner circle was called the Comitatus. The Senate was based on the Roman Senate and was used as an advisory council for the emperor. At the regional level, there were prefectures, dioceses, provinces, and at the local level, there were town councils. The council members were usually the wealthier citizens or landowning elite members.
Is my TV possessed? Welcome to the game show, which name is not important right now. I'm going to tell you some key and interesting points about the demography of a city, and you have to tell me what city this is. So this city was the largest and richest urban center in the eastern Mediterranean Sea during the Eastern Roman Empire. Between the 9th and 10th centuries, there was a population of about 500,000 to 800,000 people. At the end of Manuel I Komnenos' reign in the 12th century, there was a number of foreigners about 60,000 to 8,000 of a total population about 400,000 people. 1171, the community of Jews was about 2,000 to 2,500 people, and in 1182, the Latin inhabitants were unfortunately massacred. After the Crusades, the population was greatly stunted, and about 1/3 of the people were homeless. What city is this? Constantinople? Correct! You win the grand prize! Alright, mate, would you look at that? I think we've spotted one. Zoom in. There we go. We found it. There's the common dog, or Canis lupus familiaris, its natural habitat, the wilds of Constantinople. Now, Constantinople sits within the triangular peninsula of Europe and Asia and is surrounded almost entirely by water, meaning it's easily defended. Its geography is uber important because it makes a great spot for trade and commerce, making it an excellent harbour and port. It is right in the middle of the Golden Horn, the Bosphorus, and the Sea of Marmara, with easy access to the Danube River region and the Euphrates frontier. The city was built on 7 hills and then divided into 14 districts. Let's move closer to the creature while I tell you more about the city.
What kind of Steve Irwin knockoff is this?
It was centered on 2 colonnaded streets with an intersection that was marked by a 4-way arch and the tetraphyllon, as it was called. The city experienced intense drought in the summer and early fall and experienced torrential rain in the winter, so many aqueducts and tunnels were built in the city. Ah! She's angry! Move! 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 Volvemos a Escandaloso, un programa mala sobre las relaciones de género.
Ooh, a telenovela. Hopefully there's a dub.
The men dominated the public sphere of Constantinople.
Men held jobs such as lawyers, accountants, scribes, minor officials, and diplomats. They also held lower-level jobs such as merchants, bankers, craftsmen, food producers, vintners, ship owners, bakers, and pork producers.
Okay, they're definitely not saying that.
The role of women was to be a homemaker and mother, but some women also worked in the agricultural, retail, manufacturing, and hospitality industries. Some of the jobs women had were weavers, bakers, cooks, innkeepers, washerwomen, and midwives.
A few women rose to higher levels of success as businesswomen, writers, philosophers, and empresses,
such as Empress Theodora, Irene, and Zoe. For education, women were taught spinning and weaving while the boys went to school with a local bishop.
In marriage, the earliest a girl was married was around the age of 12 years old, while for boys the earliest age of marriage was around 14 years old.
The head of the family was the father, but women cared for the family home and could inherit it if necessary.
Oh my god, if one more channel mentions Constantinople, I'm throwing myself out of that window.
Now name a word or phrase that starts with pot.
Potato.
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 Good answer. Good answer.
There we go, finally something good.
Istanbul was Constantinople, now it's Istanbul, not Constantinople, been a long time gone. Constantinople, now it's Turkish delight on a moonlit night. Every gal in Constantinople lives in Istanbul, not Constantinople, so if you've a date in Constantinople, she'll be waiting in Istanbul. Even old New York was once New Amsterdam. Why they changed it, I can't say. People just liked it better that way. So take me back